Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up for what can only be described as the television tempest of the fall season, a whirlwind of wit, whimsy, and outright wrath that unfolded live on the set of ABC's powerhouse daytime juggernaut, The View, where hot topics simmer like a pot ready to boil over at any moment, and today's guest was none other than the inimitable Rowan Atkinson, the man behind the mischievous mayhem of Mr. Bean, whose silent slapstick has tickled global funny bones for decades without uttering a single scripted syllable. The studio in New York buzzes with its signature electric hum, the circular table gleaming under studio lights that mimic a sunny Manhattan morning, surrounded by a live audience of 200 or so diverse divitessa moms and chunky knits nursing lattes, retirees with notepads at the ready, young professionals live-tweeting every zinger, all applauding thunderously as the theme music swells, a peppy brass fanfare that promises unfiltered opinions and celebrity sparkle. Whoopi Goldberg, the Emmy-winning anchor of this estrogen-fueled forum, kicks things off with her booming baritone laugh. Welcome back to The View, where we don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk, spill the tea, and occasionally trip over the rug. The co-hosts settle into their swivel chairs, Sunny Hostin elegant in emerald green, Sarah Haynes bubbly in polka dots, Alyssa Farah Griffin poised in pearl white, Anna Navarro ready to rumble in red, and there she is, Joy Behar, the queen of quips at 83, perched like a perched eagle in her signature black sheath, glasses perched on her nose, smirking that knowing smirk that survived scandals and seasons alike. All right, ladies, we've got a treat today, straight from jolly old England, the one, the only, Rowan Atkinson, here to chat about his latest foray into the absurd with a new Black Hatter special and maybe, just maybe, revive that bin magic we've all been binge-talking since the 90s. The crowd erupts in cheers, whoops echoing off the rafters as the monitors flash clips of Atkinson in full bin regalia, tweed jacket askew, tie askewer, that teddy bear sidekick pilfering sausages with deadpan delighted drawing nostalgia calls from the back row and giggles from the front. Backstage, producers' high-five ratings are projected to spike 20% with this transatlantic draw, the green room stocked with English breakfast teas and crumpets as a cheeky nod to the guests' heritage. And then, the moment arrives, the doors swing open, and in strolls Rowan Atkinson, 70 but moving with the spry awkwardness of his alter egos, clad in an impeccably tailored gray suit that screams Savile Row sophistication, his dark hair neatly combed, a faint bemused smile playing on lips that rarely betray emotion, shaking hands with the hosts like a diplomat dodging a faux pas. He takes his seat at the guest spot, crossing his legs with that trademark Ben-esque tilt, microphone clipped neatly as Whoopi leans in. Rowan, darling, welcome to the chaos. Tell us, after all these years of physical comedy gold, what's the secret to making silence funnier than 1,000 punchlines? Laughter cascades as Atkinson launches into a measured monologue, his voice a velvety baritone laced with Oxford Polish, recounting tales from the Black Hatter trenches of how Hugh Laurie once corped mid-scene over a botched custard pie, or the time they filmed in a real medieval castle only for a flock of pigeons to upstage the lot. The panel nods appreciatively, Joy chuckling along. Pigeons? Honey, that's nothing, try co-hosting with these birds. As she gestures to her table mates, eliciting playful boos and eye rolls from Sarah and Alyssa. The vibe is velvet smooth, the audience lapping up Atkinson's anecdotes like afternoon scones, cameras panning to capture the alchemy of British Reserve meeting American candor, with commercial teases promising more with Mr. Bean minus the beans, we hope. But as the segment rolls past the first break, a subtle shift stirs. Joy, ever the provocateur with a career built on boundary-pushing banter, swivels toward Rowan with eyes twinkling mischief. Now, Rowan, we love Mr. Bean, the bumbling everyman who trips over life without a care, but let's get real, in today's cancel culture circus, isn't that kind of slapstick a tad tone deaf? I mean, the man's a walking hazard, and shouldn't we evolve beyond the pratfall for progress? The question lands like a whoopee cushion under a throne, innocent on the surface but inflated with implication, and Atkinson's response, a polite nod, a sip of water carries the first triple of unease, the crowd murmuring as the undercurrent of critique bubbles beneath their bonhomie. Whoopi jumps into smooth, Joy, always stirring the pot. But the seed is sown, the air thickening ever so slightly with the scent of impending satire showdown, as monitors flicker with social feeds already buzzing #been on the View, unaware that the innocence is about to curdle into controversy. As the applause for Atkinson's charming dodgy awry quip about comedy's timeless tumble regardless of era fades into a expectant lull, Joy Behar leans forward on her elbows, her bangles jangling like tiny alarm bells, the studio's ambient chatter dipping into a hush that amplifies every rustle of script pages and sip of herbal tea, while the audience shifts in their seats, sensing the pivot from playful patter to pointed probe, their smartphones poised like tiny sentinels ready to capture the crackle. Rowan Atkinson maintains his composure masterfully, that impassive facade a shield of stoic subtlety, but a faint furrow creases his brow as he replies evenly, "Joy." Comedy's chorus chaos controlled Mr. Ben doesn't mock misfortune, he mirrors it, reminding us all that dignity's but a banana peel away from disaster. Nods ripple through the crowd, a smattering of claps from the comedy connoisseurs in row 3, but Joy, undaunted and with the tenacity of a tabloid headline hunter, doubles down, her voice rising in that signature Brooklyn-inflected timbre that skewered senators and celebrities alike, mirrors. "Sweetie, in 2025, with sensitivity seminars on every corner, your boys' pratfalls feel like punching down. Ever think about updating Ben for the woke world? Maybe a non-binary sidekick or eco-friendly mishaps instead of just wrecking Mini Coopers." The jab slices through the joviality like a custard pie to the kisser, laced with the show's hallmark hot take heat, and the panel tenses. Sonny's eyes widen in wary amusement, Alyssa bites her lip to stifle a smirk, Whippy fans herself with a cue card as if cooling a brewing blaze. Atkinson's fingers tap subtly on the table's edge, a Morse code of mounting irritation, his response measured but edged with the precision of a Blackadder barb. "Woke, Joy, I've spent decades dodging dogma in scripts. Ben's bliss is his blindness to labels, not a lecture hall on legs. If that's punching down, then life's a ring where we all take turns on the canvas." The audience titters nervously, a wave of uneasy energy washing over the front rows where a cluster of Gen Z viewers exchange glances, half scandalized, half savvy to the satire, while back row boomers chuckle at the clapback, the divide as stark as the table's partisan placements. Joy, sensing the spark but fanning the flame with faint fluster, waves her hands dramatically. "Blindness, darling. That's privilege in a pork pie. My Italian grandma slipped on more banana peels fleeing fascism than your Ben does in a blooper reel, and she didn't get a Netflix revival for it." "Admit it, British humor's just posh pratfalls for the plebs," the retort reverberates, a gut punch of personal pedigree that turns the guest spot into a gladiatorial gig, microphones catching the sharp intake of collective breath, the band's underscore swelling awkwardly to fill the void as a sax wails like a wounded whoopee cushion. Atkinson's jaw tightens imperceptibly, that trademark tranquility teetering on the tip of a teacup, and he leans in, voice dropping to a velvet thunder, "Posh, Joy, my pratfalls paid for pensions and post-war Britain. Humor heals history's hurts, not hoards grudges like some grudge-bearing gabfest." The words volley back with the velocity of a verbal vaudeville, silencing the room for a beat, the only sounds the hum of vac and a distant ding from the control booth signaling time's tightrope. Sarah attempts salvage with a sunny segue. "Okay, ladies and gent, let's talk turkey. Rowan's got a new special, spill the absurd." But Joy circles relentlessly, her laugh a disarming dagger. "Special? Oh, Rowan, your Blackadder's brilliant, but Ben's baggage is begging for a baggage claim. Ever worry fans see you as the king of klutzes, forever the fool in the family firm." There it is, the detonator dig, "fool in family firm," evoking echoes of Atkinson's own reclusive rep and rumored regrets over being overshadowing his dramatic depths, and Rowan's eyes narrow, the actor's arm wrangling as he uncrosses his legs, the chair creaking like a cautionary creak. "Fool? That's not folly, Joy, it's freedom from the farce of feigned offense you peddle for pixels," he counters, the cadence quickening with quiet fury, hands gesturing in rare emphasis, nearly toppling a water carafe in a clink that clangs like clashing cymbals. The crowd is captivated, a mosaic of oohs and awkward applause, the energy electric as a live wire, with producers' headsets hissing hushed hysterics. A we're hot Mick reel it in. A while Whoopi waves for calm, her rings flashing like distress signals. Unfazed, Joy presses the pedal. Pixels, honey, my pixels built an empire, yours just built a beanstalk to nowhere. Come on, spill. Is Mr. Bin your millstone or your metal? The escalation erupts, riposts ricocheting like rapid-fire rubber chickens, the table a tumult of tilted heads and tangled takes, the live feed framing every flicker the twitch of Rowan's temple, Joy's triumphant tilt as the interview implodes from idle chat to incendiary inquest, the scent of scorched bridges wafting through the wings where interns exchange wide-eyed whispers, the segment spiraling toward a spectacular snap. The set, once a sanctuary of spirited sparring, now crackles with the combustible charge of a comedic coup d'apostrophe copyright tat, the audience a frozen phalanx of fascinated faces as Rowan Atkinson's chair edges back a fraction, a seismic signal in this symposium of sharp tongues where tact is the first casualty and tempers the triumphant troops. Joy Behar, the battle-hardened battler of broadcasts, arches an eyebrow in arch defiance, but her grin betrays the glee of the gambit. Medal, Rowan, love, medals are for marathon meanobins, your sprint to silly, but in this sensitivity sprint, you're lapped by laughter that lifts, not lands flat on its face. The riposte reignites the inferno, Atkinson's equanimity evaporating like ether in an explosion of eloquence, surging half upright with the suddenness of a bin bolt from the blue, his voice vaulting from velvet to vitriol, lifts. Joy, your lifting is lipstick on a landfill, trashing tropes for trending while real resilience rots in the rubbish you rubbish for ratings. The eruption echoes empire-wide, amplifiers augmenting the actor's articulate anger, the crowd convulsing into chaos, a gasp skeezering from the gallery, cheers chorusing from the cheeky, a front-row feminist fanning herself furiously as monitors meltdown with memes multiplying, Bin Behar brawl blasting across feeds from Burbank to Brighton. Whoopi, the wise wizard of the whirlwind, interjects with palms upraised, whoa, hoa, let's not bin each other to death here. But Joy, jousting juggernaut, jabs jubilantly, rubbish, sweetheart, I'm recycling royalty, you're the reliquary packaged, Blackadder and a Bodhi begging for relevance beyond rubbery faces. Sporadic snickers spike the suspense, slicing the strain like satirical shrapnel. But Atkinson's fuse is fully freed to the floodgates fling open as he rises resolute, suit jacket flaring like a fallen flag, index finger indicting like an Edmund indictment. Relevance, try revelation. Joy, your view's a viper's nest of veiled vitriol, vending venom while visionaries like me venture beyond the vituperation you vogue for viewers. In awe I'm out of this odious opus. The declaration detonates like dynamite in a dressing room. The orchestra obliterating its overture in stunned stasis, Klieg lights lacerating Atkinson's lit frame, his countenance a cyclone of contempt and conviction, the throng thunderstruck, a tidal inhale as if the air's been audibly annulled. Pandemonium plummets, a stage manager's murmur mangles over monitors, a cut to ads, stat. Yet Joy, the jaunty jester jilted, jests jaggedly, out. Rowan, see despairs like bin are scripted for stumbles. Not standoffs, but the bolt is barred. Atkinson's amble accelerates, Oxford's orating on the oiled oak like an officer's order, sidestepping the snack tray's sabotaged salads, a teetering tiramisu toppling in tandem to the threshold, rebuffing reaching hands from rattled runners, his silhouette a sentinel of scorned sovereignty. The gallery galvanizes, a gale of gasps and goes a Rowan, return. From reverent regulars, roast hurrah. From rabble-rouser Selensman lunging to lens the leave-taking, the vaunted vista now avoided venue of vexation. In the interstitial, Anna anesthetizes with asides to Anna Navarro's alter ego, while Sarah salvages with sympathetic shrugs, the diva duo deflecting with diversions as feeds fracture on Atkinson's arch exit into eclipse, timelines teeming with take-essa tabloids tallying the toll, tweeters triangulating the trigger, gifs gushing like geezers at Gaff Central, green room ghostscape, a publicist palaver prattling, prompted by the pratfall probe, theories torrented, Joy's jaded jab at ageism angling, Atkinson's ascetic affronted by the assault, or merely the mashup of muted mastery and mouthy maven. The broadcast bounces back with beleaguered buoyancy, Whippy weaving whimsy from the wreckage. Folks, that was hotter than Hades and he also Rowan Atkinson, our fleeting firebrand, proving silence speaks volumes when provoked. The ovations ornate yet ominous, a patchwork of pathos and punch, as plugs parade like peacemakers, previewing post-Behar blow-up, bomb or bomb, ether-wide, echoes endure, a comic unchained, a co-host unchastened, a contretemps carving canon, underscoring that amid the limelight's lore, legacies lunge from lounge chairs, but never sand spectacle. What a whirlwind, what a view vortex spun into viral verity, inscribing itself into infamy's indelible index.